Good morning. My name is Leslie Williams and I'm in San Diego, California. And I'm making this particular video in order to be able to describe some of the crimes that have happened to me, some information that I know concerning them, and the factual reality that if you go to YouTube and type in James Lambert and David Larson 52211 and listen extensively to both YouTube videos more than once, and then research gang stalking, or what is known as organized stalking, you'll come to understand the factual realities of some of the criminal expeditions that are going on right underneath your nose. And I'm here to explain to you some of the motivations concerning them. Now, before or after you watch this video, the best thing to do is to Google it first, so that to make sure that you get the right right YouTube video. James Lambert and David Larson 52211 gang stalking. Yeah, just do it, and you'll find it. Now, why am I making this video? I come from Michigan. That's where I grew up at, and I'm a good woman. Okay, I'm not involved in any illegal activity whatsoever. And I'm here today to tell you. Oh, listen! Before I go on to talk about before I go on to make those, I'm learning disabled, so bear with me. But I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I also want to make this statement because the government, with the syndicated organized crime that's in the government, could try and use this against me. Just because I'm learning disabled does not mean that I do not know how to take care of myself. If I did not know how to take care of myself, I'd probably already be dead or trapped in a human trafficking ring. Now, why am I making this video? Well, I'll tell you why I'm making this video, but before I tell you, I want to give you some examples, some supporting material, describe to you some supporting material that you can research for yourself on your own, so you can see that my statements are true. Because there's nothing like having some supporting material to be able to illustrate to you that the statements that I make are factual realities. Now, go to YouTube and type in every single description I make to you in reference to supporting material that you can research that will cooperate. The statements I'm going to make can be found online, and that's the reason why I'm describing them to you. Go to YouTube. So write down each one. Okay, go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. Bioethics Issues. He talks about neural, cognitive, weapons, and brain entrainment. This is a book. This individual was covered on Coast to Coast on 2/14/13, and that can be YouTubed. Coast to Coast with George Norrie and Roger Tulsis interviewed this guy who wrote this book. And he is from Beverly Hills, California, and Palm Springs, California. And they just recently did a news broadcast concerning some targeted individual of this same gang stalking, which is also called organized stalking. It's not stalking by gangs. It's criminal expeditions that are hosted by the government. And he lives in Palm Springs now, and Michael Fitzhugh-Bell, at least that's what he's stating in the end of this book. Throughout this entire book, gang stalking is mentioned in-depthly, and every single thing that he mentions in this book in reference to organized stalking and gang stalking and other things, I have experienced. This is another book written by a postal employee titled Electronic Torture, Electronic Rape, Technology, and Gang Stalking at the Post Office. This is not the real author's name, but understand this and be clear. The person who wrote this book, what she describes in it, okay, is exactly described to a T by a separate target in a separate state, this target being in California, another California target by the name of Victoria Rose. It's a documentation file. You can go to Google and type in Victoria Rose, California target, Chula Vista, gang stalking, and you'll find this documentation file. Everything she describes in this documentation file to a T is mentioned by a separate target in this book. Okay? In this book right here. To a T. Okay? Now, remote neural monitoring, she wrote right below the location she was living at when this crime was happening to her. Remote neural monitoring. Go to the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance and look on the bottom of their homepage, and you'll clearly be able to see 3 PDF links, remote neural monitoring being one. Go to YouTube and type in Jesse Ventura, Conspiracy Theory, Brain Invaders. Robert Becker is on that show. okay, towards the end of it. He's an ex-CIA and DOD scientist, and Robert Becker is literally flat out states that us targeted individuals are not being abused, we're being tortured. Like the title of this book, okay? And this is not that's not the only aspect of the torture that happens to us, okay? And Robert Becker is mentioned on the, he's the first person that's mentioned in the resources feature of the remote neural monitoring file that you can find at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. Go to Google and type in Live Leak, Julian McKinney, and Greg Skamansky. Thoroughly listen to that entire radio interview and look at the text summary concerning it. Julian McKinney is also mentioned either in the remote neural monitoring file resources feature or the remote behavioral influencing file resources feature. I'm also going to go to surveillanceissues.com, thoroughly look at everything on their webpage, and then go to UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com, their webpage, and their YouTube videos. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. Now, I'm going to give to you some statements concerning what some of these criminal expeditions are used for in reference to their aspirations, motivations, because it's all about control, money, and protection of same at the end of the day. They are involved in multiple crimes, all generating money and control. Control for the money, yes, and protection of same. Now, I'm going to lead you to a story here that's going to disgust you if you have any type of civility and morality to your nature. And I pretty much view most Americans as having this, okay? Now, hold on to your seat because you're not going to like this one. The gang stalking and organized stalking started openly, overtly, and sometimes directly, all the times directly towards me in 2001 in Dearborn, Michigan. Yes, but it had been already going on at least since 1980. Just the open harassment wasn't happening. Okay, so I had no idea. My marriage was set up covertly for me to meet him, date him, marry him for trauma purposes and sexual exploitation purposes. But that's not what I meant when I said that the following is going to disgust you, even though that is disgusting in itself. Now, the following that I'm concerning that particular statement is, excuse me for a second please, I just woke up. Go to Google and type in Dearborn, Oakwood Hospital, Dearborn, Michigan. Doctor caught falsely implanting hundreds, if not thousands of children with neural implants under the guise of epilepsy. Do it. Okay, I believe he was the head or the director of pediatrics between the years of 2006 and 2010. I got to say this carefully because since this is organized crime in the system, and gang stalking is happening in every single state in the United States as well as other countries. So when a target moves from one state to the next, the syndicate that was in the state the target was in will pay off the syndicate in the state the target's going into to take over the campaign towards the target. Okay, and the campaign and the harassment is the same. Even Michael Fitzhugh Bell says the same thing, that every target goes through the same exact thing. So does Julian McKinney. She states in her radio interview with Greg Skamansky live leak broadcast, she states the same thing. It's the harassment and the gang stalking brought against every target is the same because they operate on the same methods and templates. Remember, gang stalking is thoroughly, even on the description of this title of this book, it's thoroughly described all over in this book, and it's thoroughly described by this individual as well. And notice how a neural implant is concerning this book. Now, the hundreds of children, that doctor in Oakwood, Michigan got caught. Now, so what they did was they got caught by a bunch of parents, and then a bunch of more parents came out and said they did this doctor did the same thing to my children. So they all got together and went to the Benner Law Firm in Farmington Hills, California, and they did have an office also in Dearborn, Michigan, where the hospital was located at. So what I did was, when I caught wind of this, because when my life had been infiltrated through friendly appearing means and respectable environments like churches, yes, a self-help group that was directly connected to the state, and I later found out that the conduit used to get me to go to that self-help group was connected way back in 1986 when I moved to Dearborn, Michigan. After I divorced my ex-husband, I moved into an apartment. That apartment entrance was directly parallel to a church that this group was meeting at. I believe that that's where they eyeballed me. Yes, and my ex-husband was directly put in my life as a result of organized stalking, which is also called gang stalking. I was basically, I believe, flat out sold by my parents, along with my older sister and my younger brother Mark, because they were involved in the same organized crime syndicate that is, gang stalking's been going on since at least the 40s. Anyways, so the point I'm trying to make is this, and if you think that my parents might be, even though they are lowlifes, they're not the kind of lowlifes that you see if you went into a crime-infested neighborhood. My father was Chief MP to General Curtis LeMay. I have high-ranking and retired Air Force in my family, retired NASA, and my ex-husband was in the Navy. He was a submarine radar antenna electrician, and submarine radar antennas are directly connected to the second PDF link at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. Getting back to the Oakwood doctor who was falsely and deliberately and intentionally with complete malice, forethought, and criminal intent putting neural implants in the heads of hundreds of children, and the news articles and the law firm is stating that there's more than likely thousands of them out there that haven't been found yet, under the guise of epilepsy. Okay, this happened between 2006 and 2010. Go to Freedom Fighters for America and look on the illegal biomedical implantation feature of that webpage. You'll see an x-ray of a Terry Parker Jr. from 1967 from Canada. 47 metallic implants put in his head under the guise of epilepsy. And Canada is right next door to Dearborn, Michigan. Right next door. In fact, Canada is where I went on my first date with my ex-husband. Yes. Yes, when I first met him. Now, so I went to the Benner Law Firm, the law firm that was handling this class action lawsuit, because one of the individuals who infiltrated my life through friendly peering means, supportive means, and through a respectable environment, a church, okay, duped me to go into that same hospital in those same calendar years as a direct result of me being under extreme duress, as a direct result of covert managed circumstances that were created by them that I had no idea that they were totally connected to. And as a result of me believing this lie, I went into this hospital in those same calendar years, and that doctor did appear on my Medicare summaries. They have probably removed it by now, because if you go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know, it's a manifesto of a manager of organized stalking crews. He, it states it in the manifesto that they're directly connected to Medicare workers. And I've been gaslighted in so many Social Security's office, so many security offices, it's unbelievable. And gaslighting is a term that describes gang stalking methods. Now, so I went to the Benner Law Firm. As a result of catching wind of the story in Dearborn while I was there, I researched the story at U of M, where I was being gang stalked on a feverish scale. Go to YouTube and type in U of M torture. There's more than two videos up there, but you'll be able to see a video picture of me literally catching a gang stalker harassing me on January 20th, 2011, years after I was tweeting about it, blogging about it, going to the ACLU concerning it, going to newspapers about it, and going to TV stations about it. And the district and the prosecutor's office, the Wayne County prosecutor's office, and got no help whatsoever. Now, so when I ran across the story on the internet, hang on, at U of M and at the Bloomfield Hills Public Library and at Henry Ford Centennial Library, which is right up the street from U of M, I researched the article. I already knew that I was connected to Oakwood, and so what I did was I looked up this, and then I seen, as a result of researching the news articles, I seen that the Benner Law Firm was dealing with the lawsuit for these families. So I looked up his address, and then I went down there, and I spoke to an individual, and he said the lawyer dealing with that case is not here right now, you'll have to recontact us. Yes, I was gang stalked to that law firm. I went to the Arby's right next door to it once I left there, and was gang stalked on a feverish scale by their employees and by people coming in and acting as customers. And being gang stalked and being subject to gang stalking methods by business employees and management and securities of businesses is achieved through what is known as the community notification. Okay, hang on a second, please. And you can go to Google and type in gang stalking or organized stalking in businesses, and community notifications, and you'll see that I'm telling you the truth. So anyway, so I went back to U of M, and the gang stalking at U of M, even though it's hard for me to make the statement, escalated like you wouldn't believe, because the gang stalking was already happening towards me on a fever scale at U of M, by their campus safety, by their library staff, their reference staff, by students, by maintenance staff. I was gang stalked by anybody and everybody at U of M for years, and at Henry Ford Community College, which is the college I went to, which was located 1,000 feet from U of M in Dearborn, Michigan. Yes. So, as a result of cyber surveillance, which is a method of gang stalking, it's a direct method of theirs, because it's how they're able to ascertain if anything the target's doing online is a threat to them or benefit to them. Okay? Because they will harass you about what you've done online out in the community to make you feel like your privacy's been violated. As a result of the tracking and seeing that I went to the Benner Law Firm, as a result of the tracking of my cyber surveillance activity, of my cyber activity through cyber surveillance, they deduced that I was doing this. And they already knew U of M was connected to it because they were connected to the gang stalking. So what they did was they created a scenario, okay, to ban me from U of M. They said for a week, okay, and then from my hiking area, which is right across the street from U of M, not even 500 feet from U of M and HFCC, where I hiked out for years while I was being tortured as well. I was banned from my hiking area and from U of M and from my hiking area within 1.5 days. And this all happened within a 2-week time period of me finding the Benner Law Firm, going down there and researching it, calling them and exchanging emails with them from U of M. Did they fake an email reply from that law firm stating that they weren't interested in my case? The neural implantation and the remote neural monitoring and the microwave hearing effect come from the military. The military is infested in my family. Non-consensual human experimentation is a section of these crimes as well. But let me tell you another thing that's connected to these crimes. Human trafficking and brain entrainment for same, where they're literally creating neural enslavement of individuals for sexual exploitation. Okay? That is what the YouTube video, well, that in part can be understood by listening again to the YouTube video, Timothy W. Bioethics Issues, Brain Entrainment and Neurocognitive Weapons, Remote Neural Monitoring. And basically what they do is classically condition neural networks through behavior modification to get you to cooperate with sex for money. And then that thinking and that behavior becomes a neural pathway. They identify the resonance frequency of it using remote neural monitoring and then stimulate it back into current consciousness to be rethought out and reacted upon in real time. I strongly suggest you get this book. Okay? Now, I have a class action lawsuit in my backpack right now from Ohio concerning a bunch of individuals getting together and filing a class action lawsuit concerning how remote neural monitoring was used on them for human trafficking. Human trafficking and remote neural monitoring, there's articles on it concerning it being used in India. So, why am I making this video? I'm making this video because I am being targeted in California. My emails have been intercepted and rerouted from USD, UCSD, and SDSU. All 3 campuses, I was gang stalked on a feverish scale. Remember, this is a nationwide syndicate, and I have undisputable proof that I am a victim of this crime. And since human trafficking is directly connected to it, along with the fact that it highly appears that the people that they have got to harass me using gang stalking methods are the ones who are also currently being neurally choreographed with remote neural monitoring. And that is flat out stated by Julian McKinney and Greg Skamansky in the live leak broadcast. So do you honestly think that these universities want legal culpability for the criminal expeditions that were brought about against me, and more than likely against some of the individuals they used to harass me, since they were probably being neurally choreographed as a result of harassing me? You know, in closing, I'm gonna help you understand something. I have been sexually exploited by police officers, more than likely raped by them, including firefighters in Dearborn, Michigan, by a Willits, California police officer. And I have had police officers gang stalk me on a feverish scale in San Diego in 2006. They played a direct role in a huge street theater that occurred towards me in 2006, which caused me to go back to Michigan. It was their intent to influence me to go back to Michigan. Yeah, concerning what they did physically towards me. And I bought it because I didn't know what was happening towards me back then was gang stalking. I didn't discover what was happening to me was gang stalking until June 9, 2009, and I didn't discover remote neural monitoring or the microwave hearing effect until October 7th, 2010. So, you would not believe the crimes that have happened to me. You just would not believe them. They are unconscionable and unmentioned. It's just heinous in its nature. I've also been sexually exploited by a individual who worked for Salvation Army, which I had to go to as a direct result of a social services worker keeping my food stamp benefits away from me in Michigan. The whole goal was to create such bad destitution to where I didn't have no money to eat. I've been robbed. Was robbed right across the street from U of M. And that was in the same month that they situated this guy at Salvation Army, okay, which they were putting covert suggestions around me in my vicinity for me to go there by people who were sitting behind me at U of M, stating that, yeah, I was in bad luck one day and I needed some help, so I went to Salvation Army. So I looked them up, went to Salvation Army, and an individual there by the name of Mike, I forgot his, Jim White, who lived on Eaton Street, sexually exploited me as a result of me needing food. And that's where some of the brain entrainment took place towards me for where they tried to get me involved in prostitution and human trafficking. Catholic Church, the Archdiocese of Detroit is directly connected to also the sexual exploitation of me in Michigan, because he oversees the Catholic priest in the Wayne County vicinity. And that's why the Richard Gabriel video, which is a Catholic building on U of M campus in Dearborn, Michigan, was taken by me. That's online as well. So anyways, why am I making this video? I'm making this video to tell you the truth. It's a nationwide syndicate that operates on the same templates and methods, and I was gang stalked from Michigan to San Diego in 2006. The San Diego police played a direct role in it, and I came back to San Diego for the first time since 2006 on August 8, 2011, and I have not connected to one person here in reference to any type of intimate relationship or social relationship of any kind, because my goal was to prove that I knew I was going to be gang stalked out here again. So my goal was to prove that this crime was happening to me again, which I've undisputedly proved. Go to YouTube and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Catches Gang Stalker Admitting Sent to Harass." Then go to YouTube and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Catches Another Gang Stalker Sent to Harass." I want you to listen to this.
Police say, we think these might be related, or was it just a complete surprise?
Pretty much a complete surprise, but there was speculation on and off by police when they both went missing. When the second girl went missing, there was some speculation that the person who took the first one might have taken, both of them, but it wasn't really seriously considered.
Now this is concerning those three precious babies that were taken in Ohio, three young girls. One was real young, like a 20-year-old. The other two were 14 and 15-year-olds, kept in a house for over 10 years. 10 years in Ohio, sexually exploited, raped. One even ended up having a baby by the perpetrators. That just broke news yesterday. Okay, go to Google and type in about how 4 mentally disabled individuals kept in a basement for 10 full years, so they could co-opt the Social Security checks that they received as a result of being mentally disabled. Same type of syndicate is doing this to me because they're involved in multiple criminal aspirations, and I can't get no help because here in San Diego they're protecting the cops, the universities, the public libraries I've been gang stalked at, and the businesses they've used. So what they're going to do is literally discredit me. They created homelessness of me. Right now I'm saving for a mobile home. I am not involved in any illegal activity whatsoever. And I've been whistleblowing concerning what's happening to me all over the internet. The second YouTube video that I mentioned concerning Learning Disabled Woman Catches Another Gang Stalker Admitting Sent to Harass, that was a teenager who was put on a corner to engage in gang stalking by a San Diego police officer who admitted it to me when a digital tape recorder was working. So how can I get help? They're directly connected to Social Security workers and Social Services workers. Social Services workers are mentioned in the remote neural monitoring file. So what they're going to do is take me off Social Security. I guarantee it. My name is Leslie Williams. So I'm exposing this crime right now. And what they're doing is setting me up to be banned from libraries that I go to, because that's where I'm exposing this crime by uploading these videos. I'm asking the California community, the La Jolla community, and the San Diego community for help in reference to contacting lawyers, biotechnology lawyers, human rights activists. I went to a human trafficking organization that's supposed to advocate for human trafficking and was gaslighted there. That is the extent of the connections of these crimes. I can't get no help. So I'm making these videos to expose the fact that this crime is happening to me, who's involved, and how they're protecting it. Why I want the San Diego District Attorney's Office investigate the fact that I was brutally assaulted on an MTS bus. Go to YouTube and type in "learning disabled woman brutally assaulted on an MTS bus," and look at the description of that YouTube video meticulously. And then, why did MTS send me an altered video? I gotta go. I'm in San Diego, California. Have a nice day, and please say a prayer for me. Thank you very much.